up on that reservation, communicating with your language was a tradition. I really want my culture. I want to know my language again.
It's an overwhelming film. It is raw. We're using the film primarily as a call to action.
Albina Garcia is the executive director of La Placita, an institute in the South Valley that works with youth and appears in the documentary The Seventh Fire, a film about Native American gangs. One of the executive producers is Natalie Portman.
Gangs and drugs in Indian country is a big issue.
They're looking for a community to belong to. They're looking for support. They're looking for a creative outlet.
Lonnie Anderson worked on the project too. He and Garcia just went to the White House to screen it.
I went to prison 4 times. Just trying to be more careful and cautious this time.
They believe the visit shows the government is paying attention to gangs on reservations and pueblos and what it will take to find a solution. They hope more resources will be pumped into programs like La Placita.
We will survive this, but we can't do it alone. We need everyone's help.
Help they hope comes after their big audience last weekend. Royal Day, KOAT, Action 7 News.
On this episode of Albuquerque Gangland, we'll be profiling NP, or Native Pride, and Warrior Society. Albuquerque is surrounded by native reservations and pueblos dating back to the early 1700s. They've had a relationship all the way back to the Spanish conquistadors and the Nuevo Mexicanos in general. So I felt a need and a must to put them in the Albuquerque Gangland. If you guys don't know anything about reservations or pueblos, they're very ghetto. Most of them don't have any type of running water or electricity. They succumb, victims to a lot of domestic violence, a lot of substance abuse that goes back generations. They have poor schooling, poor health care, and it's a really rough life for them. Again, I'm going to be pointing out Native Pride and Warrior Society, which are both 2 groups that are spring in the New Mexico Department of Corrections. These are 2 Native American groups that, when most of the Native Americans come from the gangs on the reservations, they fall into these 2 groups, among a few others, but these are the 2 biggest prison gangs that they unite under in the Department of Corrections. And also in Arizona, Warrior Society is also very big. Every state in the United States has reservations and pueblos, but I'm just speaking of the ones in the Southwest surrounding Albuquerque and the United States and New Mexico. Some of the reservations and pueblos in New Mexico are the Mescalero Apache Reservation, the Navajo Main Reservation, the Zuni Pueblo, the Acoma Pueblo, Laguna Pueblo, the Santa Ana Pueblo, the Zia Pueblo, the Jemez Pueblo, the Cochiti Pueblo, the Santo Domingo Pueblo, the San Felipe Pueblo, and the Sandia and Isleta reservations. These are some of the bigger reservations, along with the Taos Pueblo, the Nambe, the Pojoaque, and Navajo, main reservation in the Four Corners. So again, these are a few of the reservations surrounding Albuquerque and all spread out throughout New Mexico, with some of the gangs, the local street gangs within these reservations being True Redbone, Redskin Kings, East Side Lost Boys, El Cerro Boys from El Cerro Mission, Navajo Pride, Nappy Boys, Carson Boys, Bud Smokers Only, Jicarilla Boys, And like I said again, most of these fall under one of two banners, which would be Native Pride or Warrior Society in the prison systems. And the guys from Warrior Society get the medicine wheel with the WS inside of it for Warrior Society, along with Dream Catchers and Lobos. And also they get a lot of these guys get the NDNs on them, the Native Pride, stands for Indian. And some of them get the N8 and the V, which stands for Native. And they also get the feathers tattooed on them. And these guys are no joke, you know. A lot of them in there doing life for murder. Like I said, a lot of foul, crazy, wild things happen on these reservations. You know, lack of education. And I also wanted to bring awareness to a lot of indigenous women, you know, on these reservations that have come up missing. Over 200 on the Navajo reservation alone. So I want to bring awareness to that in this video also. And just let everybody know, you know, these guys that do go to prison and are involved in these Native gangs are no joke. You know, they get the feathers on their face and they'll get it right on their forehead. Shout out to Bams from Warrior Society, New Mexico. You know, Native Pride. Shout out to KK. Shout out to my boy TK. You know, they're a force to be reckoned with in the county jails and in the prison systems of New Mexico. You can find them in basically any county jail, any prison system, and these Native Americans are going to come together. You know, they fight together, they keep weapons on them, and they'll fight with anything. Like I said, in the reservations, they don't always have guns. They don't have a steady hierarchy. You know, they're pretty wild, rogue. You know, the youngsters, they'll use guns, bats. You know, knives is a big thing out there. They do a lot of stabbings. And they're very brutal, you know, warriors. They come from a long line of warrior lineage. And they carry that with them, you know. They're warriors in the inside as well as the outside. Again, New Mexico Originals, Native Pride, and Warrior Society. Shout out to my indigenous, you know, my indigenous crews out there from the Nuevo Mexico and from around Albuquerque surrounding areas, and in the New Mexico Department of Corrections. You guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my other videos, and we got plenty more coming.
We almost invariably just see the bad side. We're only encountering people that have committed the crime, or living, aren't exactly living the best type of life.